All right, guys, welcome back. Hope you guys are doing well. This is what I did this week, week 61. If you don't know, I've been acting as a guinea pig, a beta tester for a program called The Preparation that's based around putting college aside, putting the military aside, putting a dead-end job aside, and trying to see basically what you can do within 4 years of time, all on your own. Seeing how much you can accomplish, developing a view, a good image, a good picture of the person you want to be, and doing what that person would do to become that person. And that follows along the path of be, do, have, which is really the A formula for success. You first have to become, which involves doing, but the more you become, the more you can do, and eventually you have. Nowadays, everybody's trying to sell you courses or tell you that life starts from having and then you become. And doing is a very small part of that, and being or becoming is a very small part of that. It's mostly just about having. So the whole idea of the preparation that I've been a guinea pig for the past year, a little over a year, is about trying to become the person I want to be, which is what anybody can do, especially within 4 years of time. You can make a lot of serious progress. I mean, just for an example, I'll put this up on screen. This is what I've been able to accomplish within 1 year worth of time. Working 2 menial jobs, going to EMT school, taking the NREMT, becoming an EMT, started working on the ranch, learning how to operate tractors and other farm equipment, learned how to shoot horses, learned how to treat and inspect cattle, improved my horsemanship. I went to a wrangler school, which a wrangler is basically someone who is a horseman. I went to a wrangler school in Wyoming for a week. I learned how to pack mules and horses into the backcountry for a few days in Colorado. I went to a rope rescue course in South Dakota. I worked on 2 separate wildfires as an EMT on an ambulance for a total of 41 days in Oregon. And the list goes on and on and on. I could keep talking about it, but I want to get to what I did for week 61 now. So this past summer, I was in the States, in Colorado most of the time, but obviously, like I said, in Oregon for 41 total days. The first 26 days I was on night shift, working on a wildfire, and that was in Eastern Oregon. And then for the second fire, I moved over to the Willamette complex in Western Oregon to finish off my season there. But now I'm back in Uruguay on the ranch, and now that I'm here, I've been trying to figure out how I can make more money. And because yes, I want to keep learning skills, I want to keep having interesting experiences, but another key component of the preparation is making money. I mean, it's a whole lot easier to learn more skills and have more interesting experiences when you have more money. Not only that, but it's nice to have more money and nice to have the skills to make money. So I've been trying to think about what that is, and now, I mean, we have the ranch, and the ranch is basically on a regenerative agriculture system, which is very different than what most ranches are like, we do an intense grazing system here where we keep the cows on one plot of land, and then we move them every day so that they can intensely graze the land while fertilizing at the same time. And we keep moving them over and over and over again so that we could basically get rid of all the undesirable grasses that they'll eat, and then fertilize the land at the same time. And since they're in a small confined area, they're more easily able to fertilize it with the cow manure, because they eat so much in one space and leave so much manure in one small confined space. So that's what we do here. And when we first got here, the ranch was very, very expensive. It still is expensive, and it's still not profitable quite yet. But it's come a long way from where it was. I mean, it used to be used as a pleasure ranch where there were the horses, 73 cows, I believe, about 120 head of sheep, some llamas, some donkeys. And that's, you know, that's all good, but it wasn't meant to be a productive ranch. It was just meant to be around for pleasure, just to look at the animals, have some animals, and every once in a while the ranch hand would butcher a cow or butcher a few sheep, and the owner would get to eat the meat. And that was basically all it was for. The owner was very, very wealthy, and so even though this ranch was such a big money sink, such a drain, it didn't affect him as much specifically. So when we came in, we put in a whole new system designed to use 0 chemical fertilizer on the fields and add more cows. So the past ranch hand believed that it was impossible to have 100 cows or more on the property. And now, because of the system we have 240, and that number will grow over time. So now that we have that, I've been trying to think of more ways to make money on the ranch, because really the sheep are not a big income stream. It's the cattle, but it's still not enough. So I've been reading quite a lot about regenerative agriculture and trying to do a lot of studying on it, and that's my goal within the last few months of this year, is to really have a good grasp on it. And I came across chicken tractors where you can put up to 75 of these meat chickens in this portable enclosure. And the whole idea is to move this enclosure on a parcel of land on the pasture after the cows move out of there, so that all the bugs that are on the manure, they go over and eat that on the pasture. The chickens eat that on the pasture. The chickens eat some of the grass, and you give them a little bit of grain, and over the course of 8 weeks, you fatten them up enough while also fertilizing the land that you can butcher them and sell them. So to be able to do that would be a great thing to do, which we're going to do a little test here. That's my plan, is to build one of these chicken tractors, have at least 50 chickens, start it out and see if it can be profitable. And if it does work out, we can have enough of those chicken tractors, enough chickens, that it can make the ranch profitable and definitely make a whole lot more money. There's one guy who's basically legendary in the regenerative agriculture space named Joel Salatin, who has, I believe, 200 or 300 chicken tractors. So if you think 75 chickens, 300 chicken tractors, and then being able to sell those chickens at a premium because they're pasture raised, he's making fairly good money off that one enterprise alone on his land, even though he has cows. They grow other food. I believe they have goats and rabbits and other chicken enterprises as well on their property. So many different streams of income, but to just be able to do that too would be a huge boost to everything. So I've been, this week I've been doing a lot of research on it, trying to figure it out. And the plan is to start that sooner rather than later, because that's one thing about the preparation. It's always better to do things as soon as possible. There's really no reason to wait for anything. There isn't. I mean, whenever I had an idea to do something like scuba diving, for example, I've completed 3 open water scuba dives, and I need one final 20-minute dive to get me to 4 and allow me to get open water certified. But originally I was just like, that would be a cool thing to do. That's a good skill to have. I found a place immediately where I could go do this. I signed up for the closed water dive in the pool, and I did it as soon as possible. And that's one of the best things you can do, is just move with speed and build momentum. I mean, that's how you make serious, rapid progress. So being able to get that done and build one chicken tractor, have at least 50 chickens is, as soon as possible, is the ideal scenario. So that's been a majority of the week. I also took a little tour around the other piece of property here with our casero, Leo, because while I was gone in the States, he built new electric wire systems similar to what or basically the same as what we have on this side of the property, so that we can do the rotational intense grazing on that side as well, which is very good. So I went with him, and we were able to have some basic conversations in Spanish, which is good. It means my Spanish is improving, at least a little bit. So that's good. I've also been I started taking Spanish classes this week with a tutor for an hour a day from Monday to Friday. And that's been great. I also do 30 minutes of like listening to Spanish recordings from lessons from a guy named Mikel Thomas on, I think it's just mikelthomas.com. But that's been very helpful. So the days I don't do the Spanish classes, I just listen to 30 minutes of his recordings. So I did that, worked on trying to improve the compost that we have, just doing basic maintenance stuff like cleaning up around the house. We cleaned up a ton of weeds, brought down some big tree limbs that were getting in the way. Other than that, I've lifted basically every day, 6 out of 7 days this week, lifted weights, and 30 minutes of chess every day this week, which my chess wasn't too great at the end of this week, I gotta say. I guess I just wasn't paying enough attention. But I'm still a whole lot better than I was a year ago, that's for sure. So doing that, and then reading Your Successful Farm Business by Joel Salatin is another thing. I'm just trying to take in as much information as I can about all this regenerative stuff, so that I have a solid level of understanding of it, that I can actually be helpful and use those ideas. So yeah, that's been the majority of the week. This is I've only been here for, what, a week and a half? Almost 2 weeks now. So still trying to get set up and trying to get the ball rolling, trying to get build some momentum here, because that's what you have to do all the time, really, within the preparation. Since you're the one in control of everything you do, basically in control of everything you do, you have to always, you're constantly coming up with things you need to do or should do or want to do. Because unless you have a job or other obligations like that that have a set time, a set date, all that other time that is left to you, you have to put to good use. And especially when you move from one place to the next, you need to take time to figure out what you're going to do in that place. You need to figure out what you're going to do with what you have where you are, which is a great quote from Teddy Roosevelt, actually. So I'm still trying to figure out what I need to do with what I have where I am, but that's all right. It does take time. It does take time, and I'm learning quite a bit within the little time I've been here. So yeah, that's pretty much been my week 61. Trying to get set up here and figure out what I need to do, what I should do, what I want to do. I still need to find a good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu place to go to at least once a week. If I could do it once a week, that would be good. Preferably more, but it does take a lot of time to go from the ranch to go to town. It takes about an hour. So, you know, if you think about 3 hours in total, going there, being there for an hour, then coming back, it's not worth it to do that often. So I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, this was week 61. I think it was a good week, despite the fact that it wasn't the most exciting week, and there's not a tangible product attached to it or a crazy experience, or just an interesting story about the week. I think it was a good week. So you got to have weeks like this in the preparation where you have moments of, you know, rapid good progress. You're gonna have weeks where you make no progress and you're embarrassed about it. But most weeks are just planning and setting yourself up to make rapid progress and have those really good weeks where you do make a lot of progress and get a lot done. Most weeks are not the most fun, but that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it needs to be. So yeah, it was a good week. Hope you guys are doing well, and I'll talk to you guys next week.